I do a lot of teachings here at AUB and outside AUB, and in all my classes I start with this slide. It's about Dr. Sidney Burwell, who was the dean at Harvard Medical School. He was addressing the graduating medical class in 1956, and in his talk he said to the students, half of what you have learned will be in 10 years' time proven to be wrong, and the problem is that none of your teachers knows which half. So it's very important for us to be information literate, and this is the aim of the two sessions that I'm going to give you today and next week. I'm sure if Dr. Sidney Burwell was giving the talk nowadays, probably he would say in 2 years' time, half of what you have learned will be proven to be wrong. And that's why if you want to do to give the best patient care, you have to be information literate. You have to be able to find the information as and when your patient needs it. When I first started work here at AUB a long time ago, before the introduction of the internet, the problem was that a doctor would come to the library and he would be interested about a certain topic. He would spend maybe 10 hours to find some references about his topic, because it was really tedious to look up the information in the age before the internet. But nowadays, we have quite the opposite problem. The problem now is that we have too much information, what we call tsunami of information. And believe me, this tsunami of information is worse than the problem that they used to face a long time ago before the internet. They did many studies and they found out that the medical literature doubles every 5 years. And every day we have 6,500 medical articles are being published. Out of these, we have 1,800 articles published into PubMed. And we have more than 120,000 international journals of science, technology, and medicine. So it's a really tsunami of information, and you have to be able to swim in this flood of information without spending too much time and without losing too many relevant documents for your search. I always like this saying, excuse me, high cost of not finding information. I don't know how many of you are aware of this. In 2001, Johns Hopkins University, they wanted to study the effect of hexamethonium bromide on asthmatic people. And they did a clinical trial. The third volunteer in this clinical trial was a woman, 27 years old. She died. And there was a big scandal. Why did Johns Hopkins University do this thing? And we all know that Johns Hopkins is one of the most prestigious centers for medical research. Do you know what was the problem? The problem simply was that the researcher responsible for the literature search, he didn't do a good literature search. He didn't consult with a medical librarian. And that's why he missed all those articles that talk about the lethal effect of this chemical on human beings. Now, if we want to learn how to do good computer searches, and this is the aim of my two sessions. First of all, I think it's better if we understand the very basics of common computer searches. And I'm going to try to explain that to you now, because I call this the ABC of searching. If you understand this, you will be able to do better searches almost on any computer program that you have at hand. There are two basic searches that I would like to tell you about. The first one is the Boolean operator. Now we have three Boolean operators. We have and, or not. I'm going to explain them very quickly. Thank you, Rola. But I will explain them by giving you a simple example. Suppose I'm interested in searching for the effect of salt on hypertension. I have this topic and I'm searching on the computer. Usually, I don't type in effect of salt on hypertension. What I should do, I should search for salt alone and hypertension alone, and then I should combine them using the Boolean operator and. And if I do that, I retrieve this shaded part. Why is that? Because any point in the shaded part will have both salt and hypertension, and this is what I want. Any point here will have only salt. This is not what I want. Any point here will have only hypertension, and this is not what I want. So if I'm interested in the effect of salt on hypertension, I should say salt and hypertension. There is no need for me to put effect, because if I combine salt and hypertension, it's going to be effect. But if I was interested in adverse effects of salt and hypertension, then I have to put the concept adverse effect. Now, suppose I searched for this and I didn't find enough documents. I should know that hypertension or ضغط, it can be hypertension, it can be high blood pressure. So if I'm searching for the ضغط, I can say hypertension or high blood pressure, and I will retrieve all of this shaded part. Okay, so if I use the or, I increase the hits that I retrieve. If I use the and, I decrease the hits that I retrieve. It's very obvious in these diagrams. It is quite simple and logical, but you have to pay attention to that. But it becomes a little bit more complicated when I have more than one Boolean operators that I'm using in my search strategy. For example, if I'm searching for the effect of salt on hypertension, I searched salt and hypertension. I didn't find enough. The number of hits I retrieved are not enough, or maybe 0. What shall I do in this case? I should know that if I OR the concepts with their synonyms, I'm going to get more hits. So what I can do, I can say salt. It's not only the internet that's not working. Let's see if this. Okay. I can say salt, hypertension, high blood pressure. Here, of course, I have to write the Boolean and here I have to write the Boolean or. Okay, so I can go to the computer and say salt and hypertension or high blood pressure. Is that correct?
No.
It's not, because every computer is built in a certain way that will execute such statements with a mixture of ands and ors. Some computer programs are built to process and before, and some programs are built to process or before. I don't know every program I'm going to use how it is processed. I search PubMed 100 times every day, and I'm sure most of you do that. Do you know how PubMed is going to execute this command? Is PubMed going to search for and before, or is PubMed going to search for the or before? In each of these searching, you get completely different results. So what shall we do? We don't know the programs that we are using, how they are built. We can force these programs to process it the way that we want. And we do that by putting parentheses around the concepts that we want to be searched at the beginning. Now, where should I put my parentheses? I'm going to rewrite the same statement again. If I want the and to be processed first, I should do like this. If I want the or in the second statement to be processed, I will put it like this. Now, which one of these statements, is it number 1 or number 2 the correct one? Which one will give me effect of salt on hypertension? Is it number 1? No, it's number 2. So this is how the statement has to be. And it's very important that we put our parentheses whenever we are searching a statement that contains a mixture of Boolean operators. This is one thing that you have to really understand in your searching. The other thing is what is called truncation. Now, Medline, for example, allows truncation, and the truncating symbol is star. This means that if I go to PubMed, to Medline, if I go to Medline and I search like this, P-O-L-L-U-T-I star, it means that I will retrieve, as a result, any article that contains the words P-O-W-T-I, if there is such a word, pollution, polluting, pollutions, pollutings. Any word that starts with P-O-L-L-U-T-I. But is this a good way to truncate for pollution? No. Why? Because this polluti, there are words that we, such as pollutant, they will not be retrieved with this one. So what I shall do, I shall truncate here. This is a better way to truncate for pollution, because here I will retrieve pollute, polluted, polluting, pollutant, pollutants, pollution, and everything that starts with this. So these are the very basic search tools that we have to understand if we want to do a good search on Medline. Did it work, the internet? It's working? Yes? No. Yes, but you might get other words. It's like if you have cat. If you truncate cat, C-A-T star, you will retrieve cat and you will retrieve cats. But is it a good way to truncate? No, because you will get also cat, cats, catalog, catastrophe, catarmina, catalyst. You will get many irrelevant, and so it's not a good way to do the truncation. This is our home page. I just want to give you a quick tour about our library. Here we have the I want to. If you click on any one of these, you will get a list of options. If you want to do any of these, you simply click on any one and you go there. For example, if you want to publish an article in a certain journal, of course you need the instructions to authors. You simply come here, click here, and it takes you to the place that you have to go if you want instructions to authors. The list, how do I, it gives you a number of options. If you want to do any of these, you simply click on the link and you get instructions about that particular thing. For example, if you want to look up the impact factor of a certain journal, how to do that, you simply click on this link and you get the instructions about that particular thing. If you need any help from the library, these are the different ways that you can get help from us. Then we have the library catalog. Library catalog, it's mainly, it gives you information about the hard copy books that we have in the library. It's not only SML, it's also the Jaffet Science, Agriculture, and Engineering libraries. So if you want to see, do we have a certain hard copy book in these libraries or not, you have to go to the library catalog. It's easy, you can search that and find if you want, if what you want is there or not. The electronic or online books, the link to their holdings is here. This link, it comes into 3 sections. The first section is ebook aggregate. And in this section, we have a number of aggregates. Any one of these aggregates is a collection of a certain number of ebooks. So that if you go to one of these aggregates, you will be able to search all the books in this particular aggregate. We have a large list. I have no time to show them to you all, but as a demonstration, I'll take you to one of these aggregates. Springer eBooks. This is Springer is a company from which we buy a number of resources, and from this site we buy 2,000 ebooks. So if you go to this search and you do your search for anything, you will be automatically searching 2,000 ebooks at the same time. If you want to go to the advanced search in this link, here is the link, and you can put in the words here that you are searching for. They can be either in the title or anywhere, and you will get the PDF of the particular chapters of the books that you are searching. I'm not going to go there. It's easy. You can find your word. Just remember that aggregates means that you can search a number of ebooks at the same time. If you don't want to use the aggregate, you want to use it by subject. For example, you have a particular subject, cardiology. You want to see what ebooks we have in cardiology. You can come here and you click under cardiology and you get the different titles of the ebooks that we have in cardiology. Then you will select any one of these ebooks, click on the title, and you can search that particular ebook alone. And the last section in our ebooks is all the ebooks by title. We have around 5,000 ebooks that you can search the full text, and you can download full chapters from these ebooks. Now, in a medical library, journals are much more important than books, and we do have an excellent collection of journals. To see if we have a particular journal or not, this is the link here. Directly under the picture from the main home page, you will be searching for the journal. You can search either title begins with or any of these options. But here you have to put the name of the journal in full name. It's not like putting AMJ Med. You have to put American Journal of Medicine. And you will see if we have it or not. Then we have the Lebanese Corner. Lebanese Corner, it's a special collection that we're doing in the library. We're trying to collect everything written about Lebanon or by Lebanese authors. For example, if you are searching for, let's say, tuberculosis in Lebanon, where can you search for that? Definitely you can search Medline, PubMed, Embase, Google, all these international databases. But in addition, you should come and search the Lebanese Corner. Simply you type in tuberculosis and you click search LEB. Here you will find everything is in full text. You simply click on the title and you get the full text of the article. These, most of these in Lebanese Corner, they don't end up in international databases, and that's why we are creating this Lebanese Corner. Of course, we have UpToDate here. UpToDate is the only resource that we don't have remote access. So you have to use it within the AUB vicinity. Then we have our PubMed, and here we have SML databases. We have a large list of databases, and these are arranged alphabetically by title, and they are grouped by subject. For example, if you want to search for drug information, and you don't know which database you have to use, you simply click on the subject. All of these give you drug information. If you want images, multimedia, you need a graph or a picture or a table, all of these, they give you such things, and so on. But now I'm going to take you to Medline, which is the most important bibliographic database for medicine and medical sciences, and we want to see how to search that. I'm not going to explain Medline because I'm sure most of you have attended my sessions before and you know that, but I will be explaining it while we go on the way. Medline is a bibliographic index that indexes 5,500 international medical journals from the whole world. It is produced by the National Library of Medicine, which is the largest and most important medical library. And the way it is done is that at the National Library of Medicine, they have physicians that work for them. And the job of these physicians is to read the articles appearing in these 5,500 international journals and see what is the subject content per article. And according to that, they assign indexing terms to reflect the content of the article. These indexing terms we call them MESH, abbreviation for medical subject headings. For example, this is the MESH tree for cardiovascular diseases. I have taken here some of the options under that tree. What they do is that they group the mesh terms in a tree structure format, from a broad mesh to narrower and narrower mesh terms. What does mesh really help us in searching? If I search for the mesh cardiovascular diseases, what do I retrieve? I retrieve articles that talk about cardiovascular diseases. But I have the option to explode this mesh term, and if I explode this mesh term, I would retrieve articles talking about cardiovascular diseases or talking about any of its narrower mesh terms. So I will get articles talking about heart diseases, endocarditis, bradycardia, heart rupture, myocardial infarction, and so on. The explode is the most important search that you can get from searching anything on the internet. Okay, let's go to Medline and see how to search them. I'm going to take Medline from 1996 up to now. Let's take a very simple example. Suppose I'm interested in steroids causing asthma. I want to search for the topic steroids causing asthma using Medline. If this is the case, if I want to do a good search on Medline, I have to break my topic into concepts, search each concept alone, and then combine using the Boolean operators. So if I'm interested in steroids causing asthma, how many concepts do you think I should break it? Anyone? Steroids causing asthma. 2. Why 2? Because causing, I can take it from the subheadings. So I will start by either one. I simply type in the concept and I click search. Medline will map my term into the mesh. And here it gives me the choice to select from all of these meshes. Meshes are given as hyperlink. And at the end, it gives me the choice to search for my concept as a keyword. Keyword search, it means it looks for the dumb search. It looks only for the occurrence of the word steroids. Whereas the mesh steroids, here we look for the articles that talk about steroids. Of course, searching with the mesh is better than searching with the dumb keyword search. So I'm going to click on this mesh and I will open the tree structure. This is the tree structure for steroids. It tells me that we have 13,000 articles that talk about steroids. And under steroids, we have all of these narrower mesh terms. And some of them, they have pluses. If I click on any of the pluses here, it opens narrower mesh terms. Now, if there is an article that talks about androstains, or bile acids and salts, or cortisone, are they included in these 13,000 articles? No, they're not. These 13,000 correspond only to articles that talk about steroids as a general mesh. But if I am interested in any article that talks about steroids or any of its narrower mesh terms, simply I have to explode. Simply clicking this first square box next to the mesh, it means I have exploded the mesh steroids, and hence I'm going to retrieve now articles that talk about steroids or talk about any of its narrower mesh terms. Even the mesh terms that I didn't open with the plus, these are already included, and this is articles talking about these. This is the explode, which is the most important search feature on the computer. The second square box is focus. Here Medline asks me, do you want to focus the search for steroids? Like this, I didn't focus, which means that I will retrieve articles that talk about steroids as a major concept of the article, and I also retrieve articles that talk about steroids as a secondary concept. But if I choose to focus like this, now I will retrieve only those articles that talk heavily about steroids, meaning that steroids is the main concept that the article is talking about, and hence the number will decrease. So I have selected my mesh steroids, I have exploded, and I have focused. Now I go up to continue. I get a list of subheadings. All chemicals or drugs in Medline have these subheadings. It's good to familiarize yourself with these subheadings so that when you have another search, you would know that these concepts, you can take them from subheadings. For example, our topic now is steroids causing hypertension. So what subheading should I take with the steroids? Adverse effects, toxicity. You should select as many subheadings as would be good for your search. In this case, we have selected adverse effects and toxicity, and we click continue. So we have created set number 1, explode. This star, it reminds me that I have focused my search and I have 7,000 something articles. I leave this one aside and I search for my second concept. My second concept is asthma. So I put asthma and I click search. The same principle applies. I click on the link to open the mesh tree for asthma. And for asthma, I have 53,000 articles that talk about asthma. But if there is an article that talks about asthma, aspirin-induced, it is not included. But I am interested in any article that talks about asthma or talks about any of its narrower mesh terms, so simply I have to explode like this. Now I will retrieve articles talking about asthma or talking about any of its narrower mesh terms. And do I want to focus? I'm going to focus now, or I'm not going to focus, just to make it different. You want to explode the narrower terms? You don't need to, as long as you explode the broad mesh, it automatically includes all the narrower mesh terms. So there is no need to explode asthma occupational, asthma aspirin-induced, and all of these. Okay? Mbala, it does. Once you explode the asthma here, you will have all of these included. Then you click continue. Again here, familiarize yourself with the subheadings that are for diseases. Asthma is a disease, and for all diseases you have similar subheadings. So what subheading should I include for the asthma? To get the steroids causing asthma. Chemically induced. I can also include mortality, for example. Mortality of asthma due to steroids. Okay, and I click go. Now I have searched for my two concepts. I simply combine them like this, and definitely I need to have the Boolean AND with them. I get 11 articles, and here are the articles retrieved. Okay? Now, if my topic was steroids causing asthma in children, I should know that children, I can take it from the limits. If you click on the limits, there is additional limits, and again, familiarize yourself with what is in the limits. And what is in the limits, don't consider as a concept, you just take it from the limits. For example, if I'm interested in children, this is the option. I can select more than one limit, and I get 5 hits, and these are the hits. Sometimes you have, for the articles, you have here a link to PDF. You simply click on the link and it opens the full text. Sometimes you have SML full text available. You click on this one, 2-3 clicks, it should open the full text. But if you don't find SML and you don't find the PDF, it doesn't mean that we don't have it. It means that Medline does not know whether we have it or not. So you have to take the name of the journal and you go to our journal finder under the homepage Tabana, and you see if we have it or not. If we have it, you get it. But if we don't have it, what you should do, you do copy paste like this, send it to me in an email. I have access to 4 big medical libraries in USA. So I'll check for your article. If we don't have it, if it's available in any of these 4 libraries, I send it to you as PDF. If not, still you have the option, we buy it, we as libraries, we pay for it, and you get it for free, but in this case it might take few days or 1 or 2 weeks to receive that. But as I said, you don't pay anything, we pay everything. Okay, now this is a simple, straightforward search. But let's say that our search here, we did not retrieve anything. What shall we do? What's the next step that we should consider? If we didn't get anything, the first logical step would be to remove the focus. So I repeat my search and I remove the focus as I did it now. Suppose again with this modification we didn't receive anything, we didn't retrieve anything. What's the next logical step? Because we have specified subheadings, we take all subheadings. Suppose we did that and we didn't receive any hit from that. What's the next logical step? The next logical step would be to consider the keyword search, which is not the best search, but we have to go to it because our best search with the meshes did not retrieve what we were looking for. And this is what I was telling you as a dumb keyword search. We simply combine these, asthma and steroids. And if I click search, what will we retrieve? We will retrieve any article indexed in Medline that contains the 2 words asthma and steroids anywhere in the index part. But this is very dumb, because if there is an article that talks about cortisone causing asthma, will we retrieve it in this dumpster? No. How can we retrieve that? What shall we do so that we can retrieve cortisone as in addition? We have to use OR. Now, what do we have? We have a strategy with and also with OR. We have to put our parentheses so that the Medline will process it the way we want. And where should we put our parentheses? Oh. Now, again, we can make it better by putting a star. It's not only asthma, here we retrieve asthma, asthmas, asthmatic, because here we are retrieving exact words. It's not that we are retrieving it with the mesh. So we have to consider all the different terms, synonyms, abbreviations for every concept, apply the truncation, and use it so that we have a good search. Also for steroids, I would put steroid, steroidal, steroids. So this is the truncation. Then, or let's say red. So here in the keyword search, you have to list all the different drugs as steroids that you are interested in that might cause asthma. I don't know what steroids cause asthma, but you should be able to know them if you are searching for this topic, and you will use the truncation. We'll put them all in this and then we will click search. Of course, we're going to get many irrelevant articles and we're going to lose many relevant ones. So this is one quick sample of SML databases. Now for next time, if you want to try as a homework to really apply this Medline search, try to search for antibiotics abuse, just for this concept from Medline, and next time we will discuss how to search antibiotics abuse. It's quite difficult. The search that we did today is very straightforward, but next time I will start with explaining how to search for antibiotics abuse using Medline. But it will help if you try on your own to search it. Now here on our homepage, if you come here, there is the SML research guide. This contains all the classes that I give about searching for medical information. So this is, you start with the welcome, then you have the general search guide where we explain about Boolean operators and truncation and similar things. SML in brief, this is about the SAG Medical Library, resources and services that we give. And then we have the Medline. This is general Medline, then you have a Medline tutorial here. It takes you step by step through the different searching. This is about searching Medline for evidence-based medicine, and this one is about how to collect citations from Medline and to sort them according to a certain style manual. If you want to write an article in a certain journal, you have to abide by the journal's rules. This is a program that we have which is called RefWorks. It does that. So please try to read in that. Before next time we're going to go into more details about these. Now here, what do we have again on our homepage? This is evidence by specialty. What we're trying to do here is that we're trying to have an updated evidence area that we change every month. So you can come here to this area, and depending on your specialty, for example, if you are a cardiologist and you want to see what are the latest evidence-based medicine information that were released the last month, here it is. It's by specialty. You simply come and you visit every month. The other thing about evidence that we're doing here is that we have put here a form, a simple form, and I urge every one of you, if you haven't filled it, to fill it. All you have to do is type in your name here, your email, and then you select the specialty or specialties that you are interested in, and you click submit. Once you do that, what we will do in the library, we will register you so that you will receive to your email directly every week the latest evidence-based medicine information in the specialties that you have selected that have clinical significance. And this is the best way for you to really be up to date with evidence without spending too much time trying to look where is the evidence. I urge you, as I said, to come spend 2 minutes and fill this form, and then, as I said, to your email you receive a weekly updates of the best evidence in the specialties that you have selected with clinical significance. And this service we're doing to everyone. You don't have to be AUB, so if you have colleagues, friends, doctors that are outside AUB, you can tell them to register on this site, and we will do the necessary things for them. Then, in addition, we said that Medline is actually an index to around 5,500 journals, but we have 120,000 journals. So how can we manage to see references not in Medline or not in PubMed? We buy a number of other resources that you can search, and one of the most important ones is Embase. Embase is a European database that works like Medline and PubMed. It indexes around 4,500 international journals, and you can search for a topic so that you will get your references. Now, the way to search Embase, the idea is very similar to Medline, but you have to go different places. In Embase, you have the M tree. M tree is similar to the mesh. So if you have a certain topic, it's better to go to the M tree, select the M tree terms, and do the search. I'm going to do a very quick search about steroids and asthma to show you how to do that. Here you search each one alone. So you simply put in steroids and find term. You will get a list of M tree terms that are similar to the mesh that contain the word steroids. And this is the mesh or M tree term that we need. And this is the tree structure. We have 1 million something articles that talk about steroids. You simply click on the number to select it. Then again, we go to the M tree to search for the second concept. In a similar way, we click find term, and this is our M tree, asthma. You click on it, and again you have the tree structure. We have 180,000 articles, and now we have our two concepts that are searched here. We simply click combine. Is it an and, or should we choose or? Definitely we need an and we simply click combine, and here we get 43,000 hits or articles, but this is searching from 1947 up to now, and the most recent articles will appear at the beginning. Here you have about 50% overlap with Medline or PubMed, but you have some articles indexed in Embase but not indexed in Medline or PubMed. Now, if you're doing a systematic review or a comprehensive literature search, or if you're searching for something and you're not being able to find in Medline or PubMed enough articles, definitely Embase would be a second choice for you to go and search. And if still you don't find in Embase, we do have other places like Scopus that you can search for your literature. Now, Scopus is way here down, and the thing about Scopus is that other than searching, what it does is that it tells us who have cited a certain paper, when and where, and it's used internationally to evaluate the faculty, to promote them from assistant professor to associate professor to professor, or for tenure or for promotion. They look at the author, at the faculty, and they see how many publications that faculty has written, and each one how many times it was cited. And this is used with other indicators for the promotion. But here in the library, what we use it for is that if you have a certain reference that is of interest to your topic, you can come and retrieve it from Scopus and try to see who have cited this particular paper. Because most of the times, people that have cited a certain paper would be talking about similar topic of interest to you. So it would be another way of finding references other than using the mesh or the entry or the keyword in PubMed. Now I'm going to do copy-paste for this just to show you. We can add another search field if we want, but I just did the search for heart attack and stress because it's already there and it's easy. Now for each of these publications, at the end you have how many times it has been cited. These are the most recent ones. For example, this article, suppose this is an article that is of interest to your topic. You come here and you retrieve it from Scopus, and at the end here, it tells you how many times it has been cited. So you simply click here. This article that was written in 2013, it was already cited twice up to now. So you click here and you see the two papers that have already cited the paper of interest to you. And most of the times, these two papers will be talking about the topic that you are interested in. This we use if you are, especially if you are looking for something and you don't find enough references, or if you're looking and most of the articles that you are retrieving are in Chinese or Japanese and you don't know Chinese or Japanese, you can retrieve the Japanese article from Scopus and see who have cited this article. Maybe you'll get 2, maybe you'll get 10 papers citing it. Some of them would be in English that you can read. Or if you have an article that we do not have and you don't want us to wait for ordering the article from outside, you can also see who have cited it, and most of the times it will end up in more useful articles that are even more up to date than the particular article that you are looking for. So I think this is enough for today. If you want, you can try, as I said, the antibiotics abuse from Medline, and next time we're going to see how to search for antibiotics abuse in Medline, how to sort references according to a certain style manual, how to search PubMed, how to search for evidence-based medicine, and I'll give you at the end some Google tips for you. Any question? No question? And please do read the SML research guide. It does give you a lot of the background information that you need that I didn't spend enough time on because we don't have enough time here. Okay, then hope we will see you next week. Thank you.
Yes.